Greetings, beautiful Earthlings. Greetings and welcome. I'm Kimber Heels, and today is Tarot Tuesday, and we have a delicious message coming through for us. I know this because we're going into the full moon, and every message that comes through for us on the full moon seems to be a whopper. So, seeing as how that's the case for this week, I wanted to stick with the deck that that I know the best, I should say, because I'm comfortable with all the decks for sure. But the deck I was just sort of called to use the Akashic Tarot deck for this week's Tarot Tuesday. And from what I understand, it's going to be like a major message or a significant message or something along those lines for, I'm not sure if it's going to be all of us or somebody in particular or me or you or what it is. But essentially, what I got as I was tapping in to see which deck to use this week, I really wanted to go from the Antique Tarot deck because it's really pretty and everybody seems to really like the deck and enjoy just aesthetically. It's super cool, but I really heard just go with something that you can just where you're not going to have to look at the book at all. And so immediately I thought Akashic Tarot, and I don't even know why I'm going to be required to just channel rather than check the book. But that's what we're going to do today. So before we get started, I'm going to show you guys which of the three crystals you'll be choosing from because it is an intuitive read this week. Also wanted to invite you all to subscribe to my channel on YouTube. I am Kimber Heels, just like I am here on Instagram. So every video that goes up here on Instagram goes up on YouTube in an extended version because the IGTV videos are shorter. So definitely please do subscribe and click the bell so that you'll be getting my notifications when I post these videos, just in case you might miss something that has to get edited out or anything like that. That would be amazing. And thank you to you guys who have subscribed this month. I've had the biggest jump in subscribers this month, I think, since I started posting. So thank you. Thank you. So today, for card number one, going to be represented by this green aventurine, sort of like a lighter green color, going to be representing your heart chakra. Another heart chakra crystal is the rose quartz. This one also speaks a lot to specifically self-love as well as unconditional universal love. And then the black tourmaline, one of my favorite go-tos for protection, is going to be for card number three. So whichever one of those crystals spoke to you, or whichever spoke to you the loudest, because I bet each one of them probably spoke to you guys at least a little bit, but whichever one really jumped out to you, or sometimes you say the crystal chooses you, so whichever one chose you, that's going to be your card. So we're just going to invite in all of the protection from all of our ascended masters, angels, and ancestors. While we shuffle, I invite everybody to blow out their energetic blocks just with one breath. Go ahead and inhale through your nose. And then as you exhale, try to push out all of the air. Keep blowing down, 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 down. When you think you've blown all of the air out, push more. And know that you are cleansed and ready for your message. So I'm going to give it just one more little shuffle. This bunch wanted to come up to the top right here. See what we got for you guys today from the Akashic Tarot deck. Card number one, Green Aventurine, is the Lookout. So this is why they wanted me to go from this deck. I do, in fact, know this card very well. So number one, the Lookout. Number two, Rose Quartz, Caught in the Ruins. Some interesting cards coming up for you guys today. And then number three, Black Tourmaline, is the Buddha Prepares. And that is Another really good card. This is a really interesting pull. So let me go ahead and bring these messages through because they're all quite different to be sure. So first of all, for those of you who chose card number 1, the Green Aventurine, this week you have chosen card number 17, the Lookout. There are a couple of things that are special about this card. So first of all, the Lookout is basically what it looks like. It's a little bit like the Tower card in your traditional tarot. So you can see we've got the gentleman up on the sail. He's looking through the binoculars, and there's a lot of turmoil, fire going on down below, whatever it is that you want to call. So the essence of this card can basically be gathered just by looking at it. It is somewhat of a card of, I don't know if I want to call it a warning, but as the title of the card implies, you're going to want to be on the lookout for something. So you might already be aware of a situation. For those of you who chose card number 1, you might already be in a situation that you're aware of that's sort of like tumultuous, or it's sort of like you are having to watch where you're stepping, and it's like there's landmines everywhere, and you're kind of feeling like you have to constantly be looking over your shoulder. So here's the special message that comes through with this deck, and what I really like about the Akashic Records deck is that a lot of the cards have additional meanings and special notes. So this card has an additional meaning. The card to which the binoculars are pointing, which would have been the bottom deck card, gives insight into what it is that you're meant to be on the lookout for. So this is really interesting to me because the bottom card is the Queen of Roses, and she's really kind of like the Queen of Cups in a traditional tarot deck, or maybe even like the Queen of Wands. The Queen of Roses is very nurturing. She's the most nurturing queen in the Akashic Record deck. So it's interesting to me that you're being asked to be on the lookout for a nurturing woman. And this is a card of a woman with really good intentions, specifically for healing. Okay, so what I'm getting for this card, I'm actually getting that this is like a physical ailment or physical injury or something like that, as far as like the fire and the sort of like calamity, the tower energy that you see coming through in the lookout. Could be, I'm thinking of like flare ups. So this could be something like digestive. It could be something like nerve pain, fire. So, what the gentleman is on the lookout for is the Queen of Roses. She represents, like I mentioned, nurturing and healing. So, I'm seeing this double meaning and additional special note for card number 1 as a way for you to get out of this inflammation that's come up into your life. And, just because I'm getting that it's a physical inflammation, this could definitely be an emotional inflammation as well. But this is definitely speaking to a really inflammatory situation, card number 1 choosers, that's going on in your life right now. And the binoculars pointing to the Queen of Roses is recommending, for those of you who chose card number 1, that you look toward the nurturing energy, the energy of, like I mentioned, the Queen of Cups, natural health, good quality natural foods, drinking plenty of water, especially because the card was drawn. It's very inflammatory. It's a fire, so you're going to want to counter that with a lot of water and looking for a way out. So don't focus on this fire. If you just stand there and watch the fire, it's just going to consume everything. So the binoculars, looking to a way out. For those of you who chose card number 1, it looks like if you want to get out from above these flames, excuse me, that it's time to look for your Queen of Roses. For those of you who chose card number 1. Thank you for obliging my water break. But as you can see, something got a little bit verklempt as I got out that last message. So very good, number 1 choosers. For those of you who chose card number 2, the Rose Quartz. Self-love, unconditional, universal, healing and love. Another interesting card for you all, and it is another card that I'm quite familiar with. This is the Caught in the Ruins card. So as you can see, there are 2 individuals looking quite dejected in this old castle-built kind of rubble of a prison. They're so caught up in what they've lost and what they're locked up for that they don't even realize that the prison, so to speak, or cage that they're put in is actually very easily escaped. It's right above them. So the answer to this caught in the ruins scenario is literally right in front of their noses, but they can't see it. So for those of you who chose card number 2, the message that comes from Caught in the Ruins is that you have found yourself in what sometimes we call a karmic situation, and it's not necessarily one that you would consider a positive situation. But this situation is something that you put yourself in. First of all, as are all karmic situations, accountability is paramount in getting out of this proverbial, excuse me, getting out of this proverbial jail cell that you're finding yourself in right now. So the major message that comes through with this card is that right now you're focusing on everything that you lament. It has kind of taken over you. So it's like you're giving all of your power away to whatever it is that you consider your personal prison. And the answer, which is typically just your own self-love, which is especially fitting because it was the rose quartz message, is that you're allowing somebody to take away your self-love because, or it could be a situation, but honestly, what I'm really getting with this card is that there's a group of individuals, or maybe even a single individual, who has so much like either sadness or anger and turmoil over a person or a situation that you've handed over all of your power to them. And it's like every time you think about them, you get angry. It's literally unhealthy for you physically at this point because it's like your heart, races, and what I'm getting is that you're producing cortisol. If this is somebody who's trying to lose weight and you're finding that you're having trouble, if you are experiencing anger and mood swings, this needs to get under control now, sooner rather than later, because it's something that years down the line it does turn into a lot more serious health issues. So for those of you who chose card number 2, you are only caught in the ruins by your own mindset, is what I'm getting. And that the answer to getting out of all of this emotional turmoil is literally right in front of you. So I'm very excited for those of you who chose card number 2 that you'll soon be out of this self-imposed prison. Now, for those of you who chose card number 3, which was represented by the very protective black tourmaline, you have chosen the Buddha Prepares. So card number 13, the Buddha Prepares. This is a big message of patience and faith. One major aspect that I'm seeing kind of really being pulled out of this card today is all of the individuals who are sitting behind the Master Buddha, just waiting for him to give a message or to bring through his blessing very patiently, and he is not going to come through with that message until he's ready. And that's what's all kind of like the big message of the Buddha. Bring my crying Buddha into the frame. The Buddha Prepares card is that, and I was just having a discussion with a friend of mine this morning about Eckhart Tolle and why I love watching his videos so much, because he will hold 30 seconds of silent space for an auditorium of 10 to 50,000 people, and it's giving me chills right now to talk about it, because in those 30 seconds of silence that he is completely comfortable with having hundreds of thousands of eyes on him, when he's just kind of staring off into space, letting whatever is meant to come and whatever is meant to go, is a really powerful sight to behold. And this, you guys can find this kind of stuff on YouTube, Eckhart Tolle conferences and talks and whatnot. But just as he doesn't talk until he's really ready to bring through the message that he's channeling, that's what is really coming through in this card. The Buddha prepares is that even though the Buddha here depicted in the front is aware that there are many people who are sort of like depending on his message, he is actually giving them exactly what they need in this moment by leading by example and being the Buddha and just being in the moment. And you can see how his heart is glowing. It's kind of like that solar plexus chakra is just really on fire, and whether the individuals in the background realize it or not, they are actually receiving the message that they think they're sitting and waiting to receive the message from the Buddha, but he is being the message just by sitting in silence. So, additional message other than patience coming through for card number 3 is that you are really meant this week to notice the silence and mindfully not fill it, only improve upon the silence. So don't be afraid of those long pregnant pauses. Don't be afraid to just appreciate whatever noises, and you'll start to notice, the birds chirping has a different significance to it. Just little things like that. And really only being mindful of the words that we speak. If it's not necessary, if it doesn't improve upon the silence, it's probably not going to contribute to our growth to materialize it through speech. Speech and words are ever so powerful. It's why they call it spelling. You are constantly casting spells with your words all day long. You're laying out your path and you're laying out your destiny all day long with the words that you're speaking. You are building your future with what you say. You are what you say. You are what you speak. You are what you speak. So, for those of you who chose card number 3, the Buddha prepares. This week, if it doesn't improve upon the silence, let it go. You deserve that silence. Just ask him. Thank you so much, beautiful baby Earthlings, for coming around again for Tarot Tuesday. I hope you have the most wonderful week ever. Enjoy your full moon. Do all of your manifestations. Ask the universe for what you want and wait for the help to arrive. I love you guys. Have the best week ever.